Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here is our co-host, Irv. We're back at it again for another episode. We're here on Season 6, Episode number 23 on the Fire Sports Pod. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. And let's get right to the segments we have for you guys on today's show. We got a lot going for you guys. We're just going to keep it simple. We got some NFL talk, some NBA talk, and yeah, that will be it. But we got a bunch of NFL talk, and we got about one or two stories on the NBA. So let's get right to it. We're gonna start out with a bang, and that's gonna go with Josh McDaniels. He is going to be the new offensive coordinator for Mike Vrabel in New England. So he's going to a familiar spot. As we all know, Josh McDaniels was a offensive coordinator before, and as well as the coach for the New England Patriots at one time. So he'll be the new offensive coordinator. The team is hiring McDaniels after speaking with him on Tuesday, according to CBS Sports-led NFL insider Jonathan Jones. McDaniels joins the staff that is being constructed by new Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel, who, like Mike Daniels, was part of the several Super Bowl winning teams in New England. So that's going to be a familiar spot for Josh McDaniels as well. He is familiar with the
Yeah,
offense. It's not as explosive as it once was, but that's the whole point of changing the guard and changing the new coach and trying to get some new blood in the system and in the coaching staff. So my first reaction to this was okay. Mike Vrabel is making some good moves. He's trying to get his own squad around him, which as a head coach you got to do. It's sometimes the best to try to change the system, the narrative around the organization, and that's what he did as hiring Josh McDaniels as the new offensive coordinator. So I think it's a good start. They got a lot more to do. They got to get that defense honed out. They got to get some players in free agency. They got to get some weapons for Drake May. But it's a good step in the right direction. So, what is your take on that?
yeah, I agree. I think it's a really good step for the Patriots, especially since you have an experienced person who has won, I think it was 5, 6 Super Bowls already, who has worked with, the GOAT Tom Brady and his offensive players throughout the year. So I think this is a really good stepping stone for them. I honestly think this is really good for the Patriots offense. I think now they could start scoring the ball a little bit better. But I mean, like you said, this is only the start. I mean, they have to start with now finding weapons for Drake May. I think this year's draft, depending on where they're at, I think they're projected to get Travis Hunter, and if they do, that would be a great pickup for Drake May. I think that would be a really nice like 1-2 combo right there for the Patriots. But yeah, I just think um bringing in Josh McDaniels it really helps the offense, really helps the team in general because he's an experienced coach. He has been to the promised land many, many times with the Patriots organization. So I really think this really helps them a lot. Now we're just gotta see. I mean, I was thinking maybe bringing back Mayo and for him to run the defense. I know his head coaching job for his first season didn't turn out as well, but I mean, he was a player, a defensive player for the Patriots before. Maybe Mike Vrabel wants to bring back maybe Mayo and so he could run the defense. Who knows? I mean,
That's not a bad idea.
I'm just saying because we're already seeing how uh Vrabel's already getting like people that he is familiar with. So maybe I don't know, but we're just gonna have to see out. But I really like what the Patriots are doing here so far.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Now the second one was Kevin O'Connell, and he has really put the Vikings in a good position. I know they had a bad playoff spot against the Rams. They really got absolutely dismantled. It was pretty embarrassing because they really couldn't be stopped by a lot of teams, other than the Rams and the Lions. So it was a little bit fitting that he was going to lose this game, especially the fact that they got Justin Jefferson, they had Sam Darnold playing at an MVP caliber way. You had T.J. Hawkins, so you had a bunch of guys that can really play, and it was sad to see that nice, powerful offense be out of the NFL playoff very soon and very quick. But O'Connell is a good coach. I like how he has the team playing. I like how he has the team moving in the right direction. And I think the Vikings are going to be a very good team for the foreseeable future. With Sam Darnold at the helm, I don't think they get over the hump. They might win one playoff game. I don't think they're going to compete for a Super Bowl or NFC Championship game, because the fact of the matter is that I just think that they're not good enough with Sam Darnold. I don't think he's a good enough quarterback. I think he's good enough to get them to the playoffs. I don't think he's good enough to go up against a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, or if we talk about the NFC, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, a
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's good enough to compete against those guys. Because if you put him on a worse team, he's not going to do what he's doing now. So, that's where I got. What's your thoughts on Kevin O'Connell getting re-signed?
I mean, I think the Minnesota Vikings had a fantastic season with Kevin O'Connell being the head coach. Now, I'm seeing this more like it's all about like the patience that the owner has. I think this was more the owner favoriting O'Connell because from what I read, like he loves O'Connell and he loves him being the head coach for the Vikings. He thinks that he's a fantastic coach, and I agree with him as well. Now, I think this might be a situation where Vikings are going to do the best that they can to sign the players that they need to get the defensive players that they need as well, and hopefully this doesn't turn into a Ryan Day situation where Ohio State had really good players throughout the years, and Ryan Day just couldn't pass that hump at winning the national championship. But now that, he obviously overcame that step, maybe it's time for O'Connell to do the same. I just don't want the same situation to happen where they're going to continue to extend his contract maybe till all the way up to, who knows, 2030. And he still hasn't won like a championship yet or hasn't won enough playoff games. So, but I like this move. I think he's a really good coach. I agree with the Sam Darnold. I think during the regular season, he's been fantastic. I think he was what, top three, top five in MVP voting so far. So regular season not bad, and then but playoffs, it's a really big concern as you could tell against the Rams how they played and everything. So I don't know, but I really like this O'Connell move. Yeah, looking forward to see what else he can produce from that Rams team. I mean Rams team, the Vikings team.
Yeah, the Rams they lost to. Huh.
Yeah, the Rams they lost to.
So now we're going to transition to the NBA, where a guy named Jarred Vanderbilt for the Lakers is finally making his return. Did I decide to wear Lakers just because Jarred Vanderbilt is coming back? No. So I didn't plan this. But we are going over this because this is a big time bring back. I am very, very happy to see him back. We've been missing him. We missed him in the playoffs last year against Denver. I think he's in that series. It's a total different series. I think Jamal Murray doesn't get two buzzer beaters. We're looking at the Lakers advancing to the second round. I mean, this guy is that type of player. He won't score the ball a lot, but his defense is absolutely amazing, and he locks
Yeah,
up the best players. And without him in that lineup, it's really up to LeBron or AD. And face it, LeBron's 40, AD's getting up there in age. He can still do what he's got to do. He's an MVP caliber player, but you can't just rely on one player to play defense at all five positions. It's physically impossible. So I would definitely have to tell you that Jarred Vanderbilt coming back, fully healthy, cleared, ready to go this Saturday against Golden State. Can't wait to see it. He's gonna have some rust without a doubt. His probably shot's not gonna be there right off the bat, but his defense really doesn't take a hit. So I'd like to see what our lineup looks like. Obviously, I would assume he might be on a minute restriction, seeing him coming back since being out for so long for some time. But when he's in there, I want to see how that lineup is, because I think it's going to be a lineup of LeBron, AD, Rhea Hachimura, and there's lineups that could happen where they have Austin Reeves. Um, you can have Dalton Connect, Rhea Hachimura, LeBron and AD, or you can have small ball. You can have Jarred Vanderbilt, Rui, LeBron, and then you got Dalton Connect and Austin Reeves, something around those lines. It's gonna be fun. to see how these lineups go. But to have him back and fully healthy is a big time plus for our team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really think that I just think this is like the defensive player that you guys need that could guard both the perimeter and the interior. I think, I mean, because you already have AD covering the paint, but I feel like y'all's perimeter defense, it's definitely been needing some help, and I think by bringing in back Jarred Vanderbilt, you know, it's better, especially since he's coming out of a foot injury. So we're gonna see. I think our Warriors are gonna have a hard time against the Lakers now because they are bringing in another defensive prowess. But I don't know. I mean, I like the lineups that you said so far. I mean, besides the second one where I think you didn't mention AD, but
Hey,
you wanted
because
a small ball.
they're not gonna play AD all the time. They got to give him a rest. I mean, we see the thing. They're going to have to play small ball. So if they play small ball, I mean, there's really no small ball. You got a 6'8", you got a 6'7", you got a 6'6", you got a 6'5", and then,
Well, technically, yeah, for the center position, that would be a small ball
yeah. But
lineup.
I'm saying is like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get.
you got some big 6-footers out there. So,
Hmm.
but it's a faster line. It's a faster lineup. It's a quicker lineup. You can put Jarred Vanderbilt at the 5. You could put Rui at the 5. You could put LeBron even at the 5.
Yeah,
Some things like that. We'll see. I mean, there are some things. I mean, I kind of like maybe an Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect, Jarred Vanderbilt, AD, LeBron. It's a good lineup. LeBron sits. You got on Austin Reeves and maybe don't connect, and then you get Rui, AD, and Jarred Vanderbilt. That's something. Um,
yeah, yeah.
there are a
Hmm.
lot of lineups that we can twinkle with and go through with, but it's ultimately going to go down to JJ Redick getting the correct lineup when he's fully healthy and ready to go without a minute restriction. Back and rolling so we can make a good push because we're right now I think 5th or 6th in the West. Not bad. We're standing still there. We've had some games that could have should have won our way. Should have won that really put us in where we're at right now. But still 6th or 5th is not bad, especially in the high-powered West where we got a lot of teams that are really good. So our next segment would have to be going back to the NFL, and that's the New York Jets. They have found their head coach and so-called their man, and that is none other than the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, Aaron Glenn. He's going to be the new head coach of the New York Jets. Personally, guys, he's a coordinator. He's a good coordinator. But what did they lack this year that really was a problem for them? Or
I would probably say offensively.
Well, no, no, no. Their offense was the best offense in the league. I would say defense.
Really?
Yeah, their offense was the best offense in the league. They had the most highest
Mm.
points or whatever.
Oh
And
yeah, their defense.
their
Yeah,
defense
I
was the
mean,
problem. Again,
yeah,
they had 18 injuries, but still, if you're a really good defensive coordinator, you're supposed to be able to go around it. And that's what happens. Again, he has put in position. The Lions were in a good situation, but the fact of the matter is that they gave up 45 points to the Commanders.
yeah,
I don't know how good of a defensive guy you are. Again, the offense turned the ball over 5 times. Did that help at all? Absolutely not. But still, being the guy that you're
mm.
supposed to be, I don't.
Oh, we're talking about the situation in Detroit when they
Yeah,
were versing.
where
Okay, okay.
I don't really like the move. I think there was a better move to be made. I would take a Ben Johnson there. I would take maybe a Pete Carroll. You never know. There's a lot
Mm.
more options that could have been put in place. But I don't know. We'll see how this is. I want to just see how it is. I'm happy. It's another African American coach. We're actually
Coach.
getting diversified. We're having some diversity in the coaching realm, so I like that. It's not bad. I'm cool with that. Not having nothing against that. It's the fact of the matter is I just don't like the way they ended the season, the Lions, and
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I don't know how that's gonna go into being the head coach. That's all. I just have a little bit concerns on how that's gonna happen. And then also we don't even know who the damn quarterback's gonna be next year. Nothing's been said about Aaron Rodgers, so we don't know who the quarterback is. So first,
Right.
let's get the quarterback and then we'll figure it out. If it's Aaron Rodgers, then I feel a little bit better about it. But if it's somebody else, then we got a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely agree with that. It's because at first, I'm sorry, with the confusion. I just thought you were talking about, what were the Jets lacking that they could have gotten
Oh,
somebody else.
yeah, no, I
Yeah,
got
I didn't know. Yeah, definitely, that was a horrible way to make your mark, I guess you can say, because both the offense and defensive coordinators of the Lions were both looking for head coaching jobs, especially if the season ended in a horrible way like that. Obviously, probably for Ben Johnson, it was a little bit better because the offense did perform pretty good. And in my opinion, I think they did their part. And for the defensive side, I know there was like things like at least 15, 16 people on the injuries list that they were missing. And I get what you're saying, if you're a defensive coordinator, you have to adjust to that. You have to be prepared for that, especially in the big games. So I understand where you're coming from. Do I think this is a good move for the Jets? I think so. I think Glenn is going to take this a little more seriously now too, especially since this was his home before. He was drafted in the first round, to this team as a defensive player. So I really think he's going to put his all into this season, knowing that the Jets did did pretty bad this last season, even after adding Adams, and then adding Aaron Rodgers coming back, and then I also think he's going to straighten up the defense. I think you know the Jets defense, a little injuries here and there, but they are a good defense. I don't think that I feel like people are sometimes hyping them up too much, and I think that Glenn will set the defense straight. Will definitely 100% work out the Jets, and yeah, I think I'm. This looks very promising. Hopefully, this doesn't end up like how that Commanders game ended up, and maybe during the regular season it will definitely work out for them.
I agree. I agree. Now moving to our next one, Jacksonville Jaguars. They basically ripped off the band-aid. It's over in Jacksonville. No Doug Peterson, and the general manager has been fired. They have fired Trent Bolkick. Belloc. I don't know how to pronounce it, so sorry about that. Uh,
Yeah, you good.
Baalke. I don't know how to pronounce it. I already bullshitted his name. So, but yeah, Jacksonville won 25-43 in the 4 seasons. The general manager was the head of the team. That's atrocious. So, I think it was
Yeah,
the right decision to rip off the band-aid. They need to find different guys to really help that team because the team's not bad. They got good pieces. They're just not pushed well enough. They're not in the right spots, and I just think that this guy was a big time problem here. So I would say that this was the right move. I'm really not going to
yeah.
go too much into this. The Jacksonville Jaguars suck, and they needed to change drastically.
Yeah, I agree too. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I just think that the Jaguars already firing Doug Peterson, and then on top of that, firing the general manager. I think it was a long time coming, especially after 4 seasons with the Jaguars not making it. I mean they have the quarterback's name. What's his
Trevor
name?
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Lawrence was a great quarterback, by the way.
Yeah,
Who's leading that team, but failing to surround him with good pieces, and then also helping with the defense as well. I mean, I just think he wasn't doing his job the last 4 seasons.
I agree.
So this is definitely a new reset for the owner. Him looking out. I mean, I know they interviewed Glenn, who is obviously taken now. They interviewed Salah. They interviewed the Eagles offensive coordinator. They interviewed just a bunch of people, and so a lot of good potential head coaches. So hopefully we'll see what kind of reset they're looking for, and hopefully the general manager that the owner decides to pick up next could really benefit them.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now our next segment would be Cincinnati. They're going the different route. They're going to college football. They're taking Notre Dame, who just lost in the college football playoffs, the national championship to my Buckeyes. Um, Al Golden. to fill their vacant defensive coordinator. I like the way Notre Dame's defense played this year. They played really well against some good time teams. They even played well against Ohio State. As you might say, they played well enough to win that game against Ohio State. But again, I don't know how this is. I don't like college coaches going to the NFL. It really doesn't work out too good. Cliff Kingsbury is good. He's the offensive coordinator at Washington, but it took him a while to get into the flow, to get a so-called good job in his favor. So I don't know. This is going to be weird, but again, it's the defense. 55 served as Notre Dame's defensive coordinator the past 3 seasons, helping them, the Irish, to advance to the 2024 National Championship. Notre Dame allowed the 4th fewest points per game in FBS this season at 15.5 points per game. It's not bad. That's really good.
Not bad.
The Bengals really lacked their defense, and that was really the reason why they lost a lot of their games this year, where defense. So I think that is a drastic need for them, and I think they got a good, solid guy. I like this guy. We'll see how well he does in the NFL setting.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think he put up a good fight against Ohio State. I mean, Notre Dame. I mean, throughout the whole tournament. I mean, even against Penn State, as well. Like they put up a good fight. Do I think bringing him in for the Bengals defense to improve? Absolutely. I think that especially if you're a top 4 in the fewest points in college football season this season, I really think that's a major plus for the Bengals, because I think they were actually dead last, or if not, maybe bottom 5 in points allowed. So, so I really think that this is a big plus for the defense. Hopefully, maybe now that they picked up a decent defensive coordinator, they can now pick up some good, like, defensive players from free agency. And yeah, we'll just wait and see what the Bengals have in store. But this was a surprise signing for me, in my opinion.
Gotcha. All right. And finally, guys, our last story on today's podcast is the Miami Heat. Again, we're back at it again with this. Miami Heat are suspending Jimmy Butler for 2 games. So it looks like in the next 3 to 5 days, there's probably going to be a move. We also heard that Bradley Beal wants to open up his no trade clause, and the only team he really wants to go to is the Bucks. So what would that mean for Chris Middleton? Looks like he might be out the door as well if they bring in Bradley Beal. There's a lot of pieces in this. Brooklyn might be in there, includes their game against Brooklyn and Milwaukee. He'll be out for. But there's a lot of teams that are involved in this. There were a bunch of teams I saw. I think one was the Suns, where the Suns, obviously, with Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal, Bucks. Who gets Miami? Who goes to Miami? There's a bunch of stuff. But I think that obviously Miami's time with Jimmy Butler is over. I think the moment that Irv mentioned a couple podcasts ago, when the team decided to say, when Jimmy Butler decided to say he'd rather play with the Kevin Durant and be a third fiddle to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker than play alongside Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, I think already from there you already knew what was going to happen. But again, it was a good ride in Miami. I just think the way that Jimmy Butler handled it, I think I would have did it differently. I didn't like the way he handled it. If you were going to go into the season not wanting to play for this team, you should have handled that shit in the offseason and not during the middle of the season. I just think it's not a commitment, and I think it's a disrespect to the organization. But Jimmy Butler has done and jumped through hoops and loops for this team and this franchise. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. The guy's a good man. The guy's a good player. I just think that he handled it a little bit. He didn't handle it at the best of his ability.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Butler, bro, he's a hard worker, man. Like, I think he's just exhausted. I think he's just tired of, the Heat's production. Like, I just think that, he was the one who put the Heat on his back the last time that they went to the NBA Finals, and they just couldn't execute. I mean, you saw the body language. You saw, his expression of how he was in Miami, and excuse me. Sooner or later, it was just going to happen. Sooner or later, knowing Jimmy Butler in the past, like we said in the last podcast, how he was with the Bulls, how he was with the Timberwolves, how he was with the 76ers, this man is not afraid to to say his opinion. And if he sees that things are not working well, and I don't know if you saw, but his first game back after suspension, he was stone cold. Like they tried hyping him up, they tried to get him,
Yeah.
excited to playing, and he just didn't budge.
And
He had a frown on his face.
he was wearing Suns colored shoes. Did you see that?
I did not see.
He was wearing
That I did not
Phoenix
see.
Suns color shoes. They were pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie. I would take them myself. They were pretty fire. But yeah, he was wearing Phoenix Suns shoes at Miami, in Miami at the thing. So just right there, we all know he's heading to Phoenix. So you could call us right now. We're calling it here. Jimmy Butler's gonna head to Phoenix. Bradley Beal is gonna be traded to Milwaukee. Chris Middleton,
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
I think Chris Middleton will go to Miami. That's how I think it's gonna go.
I think it's going to be it's definitely going to be more than a 2 or 3 team trade
I think it's going to
because
be a 3-team trade where Miami
mhm,
gets Chris Middleton, Bradley Beal goes to Milwaukee, um, and Phoenix gets Jimmy Butler. And then obviously
mhm.
picks and shit like that, maybe some other crappy players on the
Yeah,
side.
but for the
For the
main
main,
part,
I think that's how it's going to go, unless they bring in a 4th team out of the bloom, I don't know where.
and you want to know something? I saw this in a post. I think it was
Uh,
by Clutch Sports, if I'm not mistaken. I don't
okay.
remember. They did mention the Lakers in that trade
Yes, they've been. I don't know. I'm
for
sorry to cut you off.
Nurkic for
Nurkic, yes.
Nurkic.
Sorry to cut you
Hmm.
off. I was going to say that they are
Yeah.
looking for a move, the Lakers, before the trade deadline. Um,
Hmm.
Nurkic could be something, um, which we need that. That would be nice to have a big
Yeah,
man. Uh,
that would be a major help for you guys.
yeah.
A good backup for
But to
AD
be
or
honest, even Chris
yeah.
Middleton, if Chris Middleton wanted to come to the Lakers, I'll take him in a heartbeat. That's a defender. That's a knockdown 3-point shooter. I know he's been hurt. I know he's been inconsistent, but I'll take him any day of the week. So we'll see how this happens. But again, Jimmy Butler suspended 2 games. We'll see where he goes. It looks like he's going to go to Phoenix, and Bradley Beal will be out of Phoenix. So we'll keep you guys posted if we get any updates throughout the week. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for the show here in the Fire Sports Pod. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. This is our co-host, Irv. We are back at it on Friday for season 6, episode number 24 on the Fire Sports Pod. A little sneak peek. We'll be going over our AFC and NFC championship picks for this coming games this Sunday. So stay tuned to that. Again, guys, we're powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. We are out. This is the Fire Sports Pod, and we'll see you guys on Friday.